With that, let me introduce myself. My name is Arav, and I will be the host of the session today, and I will be your trainer for this course as well. So about myself, I have around 14 years of experience, and with 10 years, mostly I have worked on data center, which means Nexus, UCS, and ACI. From the last 8 years, I'm working on ACI because most of my project is on ACI, and I am working as a trainer as well. I have delivered a lot of trainings, and I'm also speeding up with the automations. Okay, so this was about me, and it would be good. I see a huge participant list. It would be very tough to take the introduction of all of them. I was thinking or wondering, like, if couple of you just unmute yourself and just tell your name, a couple of line about yourself, and which company or which organizations you belongs to. Uh, some of you, please, if you can. Or else I'll start picking the name which you might hate it. So it's better if a couple of you just unmute yourself and just introduce yourself.
Hi, this is Ignacio. I've taken quite a few NetworkJourney classes. I'm looking forward to this class related to both SD-WAN and the Nexus. So well, thank you. And I've been working in IT for quite some time. So this hopefully this will round out my education. Thank you.
Great, Ignacio. From which location you are joining?
Oh, I'm calling you from Chicago.
Great, Ignacio.
Yeah.
Welcome. What about anyone of you?
Hi.
Yeah,
Yeah, hello. How you doing? This is Jose Rodriguez, out of New York. I have about 10 years experience, and the space that I'm consulting with is the data center space, just as you are. My focus is in ACI, and I'm looking forward to this class to get more exposure. Obviously to gain more experience and to be better, learn from you guys and be better at what I do every day, especially with the SDN piece of it and the SDN orchestrator.
great. Welcome, Jose. Welcome to the session. One more, if someone can introduce one more, and then we'll start the session class.
Hi everyone, my name is Kadir. I am working in NEC, which is a Japan-based company. My overall experience is 14 years. I worked in various technologies like SDH, OT, and DWDM, etc. Right now, we got a project related to networking, and I know the basic networking concepts. And due to my project demand, I'm looking to learn about ACI and NSS, everything. Thank you.
Great, Kadir. Once again, welcome you as well. So, yeah. So this two rule is about this session or this class will be there. First of all, I will try my best not to use the slide deck and bore you. So most of the session, what will be delivered on whiteboard. So no slide deck. As if something is something, if I have to do in slide deck, it will be the last option which I will pick it. Otherwise, I'll always prefer my whiteboard in my other session as well. And the second thing, this is completely a bi-directional class. This is not a unidirectional class, which I will be delivering and you guys will be listening. So feel free to stop me at any point of time. If you have any doubt, just stop me, ask it. Do not hold it till the end of the session, because if you have any doubt in the middle of the session and you hold it till the end of the session, is something which I'm not looking forward. So whenever you have the doubt, just unmute yourself, ask the question, clarify it, and then we'll move forward together. Okay. So with that, let us start, and let me share my screen. So okay. So this is you guys will be knowing about from the marketing team, or this is the Nexus, ACI, and the SD-WAN topic, which we'll be talking about it. I'll be mostly talking about the ACI and the Nexus, and this course is basically will be around our DC ACI, data center application centric infrastructure. Okay, and let's talk about a little bit of the certifications, what we will be doing it. Let me stop this one. Let me share my Chrome browser. Okay, let us come over here. Okay. So this will be the focus of our session, okay, of our classes. The course code is 300-620, which is data center, and this will be the section which we will be covering it. This will be both the theoretical and the lab as well. Okay, so the first one would be about talking about the ACI infrastructure, where we will be it will be overview. What is ACI? Why we need ACI? And what are the challenges we were having in our traditional data center, which is being addressed by this ACI, right? You might be hearing a lot in the market, like how ACI is booming in the space of the data center, right? So this is what we will be covering about the topology and hardware, what kind of hardware we need. It's not like we pick any hardware and get it integrated with the ACI infrastructure. We don't do that. There are specific requirements in terms of software. There is a specific requirement in terms of hardware, especially Nexus boxes, which we use as a ACI. But in Nexus boxes also, you will be knowing it. And even if you don't know, I think you guys, for me, it's okay if you just know about the IP, TCP, and other stuff. Everything which I will be talking about will be from the basic, right? So for a couple of them, it will be redundant. So apologies, but we'll just try to keep everything. Everyone should be understanding it. You might be knowing we have the Nexus hardware, which runs in two modes. One is Nexus mode, which is called the Nexus standalone mode, and other is the ACI mode, where we feed in or put the ACI operating system and have them converted into the ACI mode, right? So only that ACI box, Nexus box, which runs the ACI operating system, will be the part of the ACI topology. Then we'll talk about the ACI object model, relative name, distinguished names, and other stuff. Then we'll talk about also the the ACI is about the configuration, and then it's also about the monitoring, right? What kind of fault we see and what will be our action on those faults, right? How to understand those faults, right? Where that faults will be there, right? So those things will be also we'll be talking about it. What is fault? What is event log? What is audit log about it? When I say audit log, which means you have an infrastructure, big infrastructure managed by a big team, right? 10, 15, or 20 people, right? So who does the changes? What time did he does the changes? What changes? What object he touched it, right? So those things we will be talking about in the audit log. Then we will perform a lab, okay? And lab we will be doing from this very scratch. When I say when the scratch, which means you think like this: you are a customer, you ordered Cisco, send me a UCX box, the Epic controller, and couple of leaves and spines, okay? And after once it gets shipped, it gets racked, right? After that, how to bring that up? It will be a fabric discovery, which we will be doing it, where we will be having the switches discovered. We will identify their roles, what kind of roles they will be in, leaves role or the spine roles, right? Have them after discovery, have them registered into the ACI. Sometimes what happens, the leaf gets stuck into the inactive state. It's not progressing, right? What kind of troubleshooting we will be doing on that one? Because we logged into that Epic GUI, we logged into that Epic CLI, but the leaves is not getting discovered. It says inactive. Then we have to get into the console. We have to check what the log is propagating on those things kind of console. So we will be seeing those as well. Okay. Then we will be having implement ACI policies. So there are different sections about it, right? You guys can see my Chrome browser, right? Right now? Just one of you can confirm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And soon I will be changing to whiteboard. Now you can see my whiteboard as well, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So we have the leaf. Okay, one more thing I would like to tell here. I'm having some issues with my the pen and pad. So probably I will be doing most of this stuff, drawings and write up using my keyboard and mouse, which is quite horrible, but just bear with me. Maybe in the upcoming classes, I'll be using the pen and the Wacom tablet. Okay, so bear with me. Okay. Okay, thanks. So
Yeah,
we
no
have
problem.
okay, so we have this, consider this as a spine, and then we have this as a leaf, right? Let's not talk about the epic, but this is the spine, and this is the leaf what we have. So when you see here, right, this one, right, it talks about the access and fabric policies. If I go back here, right, in my this one. So this is called a fabric space, where we will be talking about the interface which is connected to this the switches, which means the between the leaves and spine, right? So I will be talking about the fabric policies, and then we have the link which is connected to your downstream devices. When I say downstream devices, it could be uh, any kind of devices. It could be your L4 to L7 devices, which will be your load balancer, F5, Palo Alto, ASA, FTD, anything, right? So this will be the access policy, which means access port, right? So we will be talking about those. Then again, we'll come back to that logical construct where we will be talking about what's the tenant, what's the application profile, VRF, how these individual components, right, tenant, application profile, EPG, bridge domain, how each of them gets fits together and work together and have the endpoint connectivity, right? So each of them will be creating it and have them marry them together, right? How each one of them working. And suppose we done end-to-end configuration, right? We have the endpoint also connected to the port group, but still port group, still the endpoint is unable to ping the gateway, which resides in your bridge domain, or if it is resides outside your ACI fabric, how do the troubleshooting? How we go step by step, right, to do the troubleshooting. So a little bit we will be talking about here. Then this will be a packet forwarding. What kind of protocol, ISIS, PF, ISIS, we have a VXLAN, and there will be a multiple things will be there. There are different scenarios, 4 to 5 scenarios are there, where endpoint A knows the endpoint B, where it is located, on which it is located, how the traffic will traverse. Where endpoint A doesn't know the endpoint B, where it is located, how then traffic propagate in the ACI fabric, how it gets flooded, what's the use of the Anycast IP address of the spine, what is the VET and VTAP, VXLAN telnet point. So we will be talking about these terminologies and what each one of them are used for. Then we have the external connectivity. So even though if you don't have the basic of ACI knowledge, it's okay. We have a different type of connectivity, like how your ACI fabric is connected to that outside world. Because it's not like by default, every customer has a greenfield deployment, right? Just to let you know, greenfield and brownfield is a terminology which is used by most of the company. Greenfield, which means something you are trying to set up from this scratch, which means you have any requirement in your company, you have any new project coming in your company, and you want to use that in your ACI fabric. So you set up entire data center. You will have 3 epic, you will have 2 spine, you have minimum 2 leaves, and you do the entire setup from the scratch. So that is a greenfield deployment. But you already have the standalone Nexus fabric, right? Already the data is traversing. Now you have a new data center, which is an ACI data center, and now you are trying to move the workload, right? Or the gateways from the traditional data center, which is your Nexus data center, to your ACI data center. So that movement, we call it as a brownfield migration. Then we'll talk about the integration. We will be showing this in the lab. What is VMM center integration, virtual machine manager, how we integrate, how we set up, how we spin up the VMs, how we attach the VM to that each individual port group, how we troubleshoot that each individual port group is connected to the vSwitch, how that vSwitch is connected to the VM NIC, and how that VM NIC is connected to your uplink switch. A very detailed step. We will be talking about it, this troubleshooting and all those things. Then we will be talking about service graph, PBR, and other stuff. Then ACI management, other stuff. How do we create AAA rollback and syslog SNMP, other stuffs. Then we will be closing the class with just giving an overview, which is called ACI Anywhere, which means ACI can be deployed anywhere, right? So with the multi-port and the multi-site. So this is something which we will be talking about in this class. And along with this, we will be doing some kind of automation. Automation is not the part of this DC ACI, but let me be very honest with you. Automation is something which every company is looking at it, right? Now they are done with the manual type of task, right? This Epic GUI, right? Maybe it's very good to learn how that tenant is created, how EPG is created, how EPG is mapped with the bridge domain. Manually, you do it, learn it, but going forward, it's not feasible in your data center, in your production, because you will not be playing or working with one tenant. There will be hundreds of tenants which you have to work. There will be thousands of EPG you have to work. It's difficult to manage with GUI. So there will be a little bit of automation, which we will be talking about it, how you do that one. So this was the introduction about the course content. Any question about it? Anything which you would like to add it also here, just let me know.
Yeah, are we also going to be doing SD-WAN?
Yes, we will be doing SD-WAN, and that will be taken care by from a different trainer. I will be focusing on Nexus and ACI.
Okay.
Arav, Divakar here. Hello.
Yes, Divakar, please tell me.
Okay, so we know that this AC is the key component in data center. See, so what is in terms of what is the main purpose of using this AC devices in data center? So what are the key advantages of it?
The advantage of ACI, right?
Yes,
Good question. Because based on that only, I'm going to start the class. So let me close the Chrome browser, or let me open this one. Okay.
I have one more doubt.
Yes. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So we'll be learning Nexus from basics, or we will directly jump on the ACI part?
We will be doing ACI part. There will be a certain section in that ACI which will be the VPC. There probably I will be talking about VPC, VDC. Once ACI is done, then we will talk about the Nexus.
Okay.
Aurav, Somshika here. See, I have a question regarding, most of the applications are moving to cloud, right? So AWS or Azure. How ACA is, helping on those cloud-based, application? Like we are not having most of almost 90% we moved all the application to cloud, and we have some 10% that is internal application hosted on the data center. How this ACA is gonna help and again I'm new to the ACI, how we can start from the basic, is that whatever the like we have a CCNA, CCNP for the networking, routing and switching. For this ACI, like how many
No, this
level of?
BC ACI is basic only. Okay. So here we will be starting right from the scratch. And based on the cloud, you would have heard about public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud.
Yes,
So certain
exactly.
terminology is there. So public cloud, we have GCP, AWS, and this thing. Then we have, because I'll tell you with my experience, a certain customer like healthcare customer, right?
Yeah.
Certain customer like government customer, they will not put their data in the cloud because of the security concern, right?
Okay, yeah, correct.
So mostly they will try to have it on-prem data center, which is why the ACI is preferred. Okay, and the beauty of this ACI is it's not only the on-prem data center, even it gets connected with that AWS. There was a section which is ACI anywhere, right, in the course, right? If you go to that advanced level, so it's not about ACI with that multi-pod or multi-site. Even you can get connected with that AWS, Azure, and I think with the latest version of 5, we can also get connected with GCP as well. There are certain, I think, DigitalOcean and other stuff. I'm not sure about it, but these three are very much in like these are the brand, right, which is there from a long time. The cloud vendors, I would say. So this ACI will also get integrated with this service provider as well, AWS, Azure, and GCP. Okay. Okay.
But this is just on focus on the data center level only.
Yes, mostly. And
and again, I have observed some of the healthcare customer, right? So we have 9300 series, 9200 series, catalyst switches and all, right? So they're moving away of the Nexus switches. So what's your?
It's all about the business decision. So it depends upon customer to customer. But even if you would heard about it, Cloud Epic, right? So even
Cloud
we
Epic.
are, yes. So even we are having that Cloud Epic, right? Which is there on the AWS or somewhere we install it, and from there we can manage our ACI fabric and have them integrated. So there is a lot of thing in the ACI. So yeah.
So this ACI can be implemented on only Nexus switches or the other Nexus, like 9200, 9300 catalyst switches as well.
No, only Nexus.
Next generation switches as well. No,
only Nexus 9K, and 9K have a different platform. We have 9504, 9506, 9508, 16.
Yeah.
Then we have 9300, but only Nexus 9K switches. There is no other platform which gets integrated with ACI. And having said that, Nexus platform with only ACI code. If you have standalone Nexus, suppose you have your ACI and your hardware breaks, right? You created an RMA, and the Cisco team sends you an hardware Nexus 9504 or 93, whatever the hardware you replace it, and they send it with your standalone Nexus OS code. You cannot have them integrated to your ACI. You have to first console that device, use the USB or whatever, push the ACI code on it, boot it on the ACI code, set the variables, and then you have to integrate with your ACI fabric. With standalone Nexus OS, it will not get integrated.
Okay.
There are certain scenario when we talk about multi-site or multi-pod, you would have heard about IPN. I know it's very advanced, but inter-pod network and inter-site network. These are Nexus boxes. They can be running a standalone mode. They do get integrated, but not as an ACI switches, but as just a neighboring device. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's start with that. Why we need ACI? Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Could you just?
Okay. So I'm just guys taking you aback when we have the internet started, right? Or Cisco something got started, right? So if you remember it, right, we have one switch, right? This is called a distribution switch, or let's say it's a core switch or aggregation switch, something like that. Okay. Okay. Let's keep it as a distribution switch or core switch. And then we were having a access switch, right? Okay, we have two switches, right? We have a distribution or core switches, or we were having access switches. Where our server used to be connected, it used to be connected on access switches, right? There we used to have our servers. There we used to have our laptops, servers, laptops, or whatever the access point, everything, right? And then we have a uplink switch, which is also called a core or distribution or aggregation, whatever you call it, just for understanding, uplink switch, right? We used to have one link here, right? Now, the problem what has happened, right? Suppose something breaks, right? Then what happened? This entire system, ecosystem used to get isolated because we have only single link and this link breaks. So we do not have any connectivity to your internet or whatever you have any server available over here. We're not having any connectivity to this one. So to address this problem, what we did it? Horrible writing. Okay. So, sorry, go on.
Redundancy, correct?
Sorry?
Redundancy, backup.
Yes, yes. We added one more link, which was a redundant link, we call it. So we used to have an access switch, okay? And then we used to have a core switch here, right? Uplink switch. And then we used to have a redundancy, adding another link, right? So if this link gets fail, another link will come, another link will work. But the problem here, what was there? We used to have a problem with STP. STP was an advantage and STP was disadvantage. So if we have both this link, only one link will work, another will be in block state. Then we come up with another plan. We put a port channel over here. Okay, so that within the port channel, if one link goes down, still we have the connectivity to the uplink switch, and all our systems, right? Laptop, server, and everything used to have connectivity to upward. So this was good, right? Life was good. Now think about it. Okay, STP. Now think about it. What will happen if this switch itself, uplink switch itself, gets failed? Now we come up with another solution. We added one more switch in the uplink switch, right? Okay. So we added one more switch. This is switch A, and this is switch B. And again, we have a normal access switch. Switch. And then what we have, we added so far we were having redundancy on the link level. Now we were having redundancy at the switch level, right? So depending upon the operating system, right? So suppose this is an iOS, right? So for iOS, we used to have a VSS, virtual switching system. Okay. And suppose this is the Nexus, which is like Nexus 9, Nexus NK5 or Nexus 7K or Nexus 6K. We used to call this as a VPC. Correct? Sorry. VPC. So in this case, what we were getting, we were having an active path. We have the uplink, two uplink switch. Even if one switch goes down, we still have the connectivity from the server to the outside world. So all looks good. So far, clear, right? Just one thumbs up or something like that.
Yeah, clear.
Okay.
Yeah,
By
clear.
the way, the port channels also get configured in each of the devices, right, Araf?
Port channel, yes, we like this. You're talking about it, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, talking
Yes,
about this scenario. Yes.
Yes, we can have additional port channel. We have we can add that one. But just I'm talking about standard one.
Devices part.
Sorry.
No, go ahead, Araf.
Yeah. So I'm just telling about what challenges we were there and how we address it simply. There will be a lot of things. There are some scalability, how many links you can add in each port channel. All those things are there. But just standard things. Redundancy in the uplink switch, and we have the redundancy in the link. Now the problem, what has happened, right? So suppose if you have let's think about a minimum 16 ports is there. So if you run out of this ports, right, on this one, so we have another link here as well, another switch, and it is connected to a server. Now another link here, or one more, and one more. But there will be a day come, right, when you will be exhausted of all the ports available on this VPC port, right? So you need to introduce one more switch. But the challenge here is, in VPC only we have two switches. We cannot bring the third switches. If I remember correctly from my Nexus day, we cannot bring the third switches. Now what we have to do? We have to do another one more setup of the VPC. Okay. So we have switch A, switch B connected to access switch. Then we have switch C and switch D, which is connected to one more switches. But now the problem with the access switch is what happened. Only one VPC will be in active state and another VPC will be in the standby state. So again, we are investing a lot of dollar things, right, in this hardwares, in this SFP, in this optics and everything, right? But another switch is just waiting for his peer to go down. Then only I will work. Otherwise, I won't work it. So that is not we want it, right? Then we have come up with a solution, and this solution was a fabric path. So to address that problem, right, active standby in the VPC, we come up with the fabric path. So in the fabric path, things were quite simple. We have spines, okay, and then we have leaves. We have spines 1, spine 2, we have leaf 1, we have leaf 2. As soon as you get exhausted of the spine switches, no problem, you get a new spine, put like this. As soon as you get exhausted of the leaf, you get a new leaf and you connect it to the spine. So in this way, we can keep on scaling from east to west. So that was not the problem. And how about this one? These were like connected like this. Leaves were all connected to the spine, like a partial mesh topology. Every spines will be connected to every leaves. Every leaves will be connected to every spine. Now, what we are running on this fabric path, we were running VLANs, right? If you guys know about from the Nexus, right, we were learning VLAN. And what is the scalability of the VLAN? From VLAN 1 to, I think something 4094 or 40 something 95 is there, right?
4095.
4095. Now you are working in a company like AT&T, Barclays, or big companies like NVIDIA, right? You have 495 project. You assign 495 VLAN. Now the next VLAN will come, then that will be a problem, right? Now you have to think about the scalability, because from 4905 I got exhausted, and in this also there I remember there are some internal VLANs and other stuffs are there, right? Now what you decided, okay, now to address this VLAN challenge, right, limitation of the VLAN, we'll move on to that another two technology. The first would be the standard VXLAN, because here we have some 16 million IDs is there, right? Some 2 to the power 32 something is there, which is a very huge number, right? It has just addressed this VLAN count. And other was ACI. So we have VXLAN and we have ACI, right? So this course is all about mostly on ACI. So you got to know about this ACI, how from starting from addressing the link level, the uplink switch, and then addressing the uplink switch. Then we have this VSS for Catalyst, and VPC for Nexus, and then where we go to the fabric part, and then fabric part we come into the VXLAN, and we have ACI. So this concept is clear, right? Because I need to talk about more why ACI. So this is clear, right? So far?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Now there's another thing what we have. Think about you have a 50 like this, 10 switches like let's say 20 switches like this, 20 spines and 20 leaf switches. Total 40 switches you have. Think about of the day when you decided to move from 8 dot some version to some 10 dot version. Think about the number of maintenance window you have to take it from the change board advisory. A lot of things will be required, work plan, everything, and it's 99% sure is there that something will break on the day of upgrade. Maybe something interface was missed, something port channel, something configuration, BGP, something would have been missed and it breaks. And how many change window we have to take? Maybe 10 switches we will be doing in one day, or 5 switches we'll be doing on one day, depending upon the critical application running on those switches, right? So to address this kind of problem, right, we are having ACI. ACI, if you have 20 switches or 40 switches in one maintenance window, we can upgrade all of them. Just what we have to do, we have to create a maintenance group and we can upgrade the switches. It's true that when we are creating a maintenance group, there are certain things which we have to mindful about it. We cannot keep all the spine in one maintenance group because we cannot upgrade all because we will lost the connectivity. There are certain things, but think about this one, right? 40 switches, 50 switches, we can upgrade in single day. We can build the maintenance group in such a way that 10, 10, 20, 20 switches, we can keep it in one maintenance group and we can upgrade that one. We do not have a single pane of glass to monitor the standard Nexus OS. Right now, if you guys have heard about DCNM or NDFC, right now we have solution from last few years, but you guys will be knowing that ACI is there in the market since 2013. Okay, ACI is actually not the product of Cisco. ACI was a kind of startup which was by some company in Smeni. INSEMNI is there. So today also when you will boot up ACI, right, you will be seeing some Insemeni code, something will be there. So it was something like startup and all. And in 2013, Cisco bought that product. And since that, Cisco has built a lot of features on ACI, and that's why it has taken a lot of share in the market in space of data center. So it's just a single pane of glass. You just log into Epic GUI, right? And from there, you can see all the faults of your entire ACI fabric, all your spines, all your leaf. Upgrade, just using an Epic controller, you can upgrade everything. Then what else we have? Monitoring is there, management is there. Single pane of glass, I would say. So this thing is there, but there are a lot of things. It's not coming on top of my mind, and I have not made such a notes also. But there are a lot of things are there which has the advantage. But these are a couple of things because of which we use ACI. Okay. Now, so this is there, and now what else we can talk about it? This thing STP also, like I said, in a traditional data center, we were having some STP, even though we moved to that fabric path and all those things, but that also got addressed by ACI. People started leaving their traditional data center and started moving ACI because we don't have the blocking port option in ACI. Because think about the optics, right? Gigabit optics, what we have, it's very costly optics we have. We cannot keep just one port. Sir, be on the standby. Only when your neighbor will fail, then you only come up. We cannot do that, right? We want all our ports to be active, and forwarding the packets. Okay, so this is the one. Now, why ACI? I think we all got clear. Let's talk about what are the components are there in ACI, right? So basically, there are 3 components in ACI. In fact, there are only 2 components. Apologies. So what are these 2 components? The first is Epic. And one thing I'll tell you, mostly people say, what is ACI? So just most of the time you will see a single, it's a policy-driven infrastructure. Okay, like for example, if I go here, I was talking about this one, right? In Nexus data center, if you create any, if you bring up any interface, you configure any interface, right? Same thing if you have to do, you have to configure everything, right? Copy paste is okay, we will do it. But you have to be very watchful about it, this thing, right? Again, if you have another, you have configured everything on this switch. Again, you are trying to bring up a new switch, then everything you have to configure in this switch, right? In ACI, you have one more advantage, that it's a policy-driven infrastructure, which means you create one policy, you keep on using again and again and again and again. Okay, as long as the policy is same, you have to reuse it again and again. So this is also one of the advantage of the application policy infrastructure controller, which is EPIC or ACI. So let's open the one whiteboard.
The policy means that is a configuration or any coding is
It's
there?
a policy. It's a basic thing policy, like interface policy. A configuring CDP is also a policy. That is CDP policy. LLDP is a policy. We create one policy which is LLDP enable, and wherever we want to push on whatever the interface we want to push, we go ahead and push it. That's it.
If we are using different spines, which means that also applicable, or
yes, different spine switch. One is 9504, one is 9508. It's applicable. One thing we have to match, one thing we have to worry about is a compatible matrix, because most of the time student ask me, I have a 9504 which has a SOUP model, SOUP 2B plus, and I have a 9508, I have a SOUP A plus. So will that be compatible? So we have a CCO pages or we have a compatible matrix available on CCO pages, where we go and check whether these kind of modules, it's the same like in Nexus also, right? If you remember Nexus, we have certain line card, right? F1, F2, F3, M1, M2 were there, right? And we have VPC configured. So when we are swapping any line card, best thing is to swap it with the same line card, because we know about it. But if we are changing it, we have to Google it. We have to go to the certain community pages and need to validate whether those two line cards are compatible or not, right? It's the same thing in ACI also. We can push it. Most of the time it will be compatible if you have a same, but sometime if you are changing the generation of the switches itself, right? Or generation of the line card itself, that point of time, you have to be a little watchful about it. Okay. Now you might be
tell me.
Now you might be also thinking about the generation of switches, right? So in ACI, we have certain generation, we have passed through certain generation. If you log into your EPIC controller and type ACI DAG FNV red or show fabric membership, we will get the list of switches, Nexus switches on it, right? Nexus switches, which will be 9300 switches, 9500 switches, 9364, 36, so different models, we will get it. So the best way to identify which switch belongs to which generation of switch is by seeing the last two alphabets. If it is anything other than EX, FX, GX, FX2, anything other this one, right? Then those switches will be a Gen 1 switches. Like for example, 9332 PQ, 9364 PX. Just one second. Let me show it to you, right? Do you see my screen where it shows first generation switch and second generation switches? Something is visible?
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay, so you see, right, this PQ, PX, TX, and all those things, these are Gen 1 switches. Right now, it's almost end of life. If your company is running this one, definitely by this time they would have changed it to the Gen 1 Gen 2 switches. Otherwise, these switches are almost like end of life. End of life are different type of end of life. Maybe the software upgrade and end of life, hardware support end of life, tax support end of life. So if you go any switches and wanted to look what is end of life means, you just Google it and you will say on which date, what type of end of life has happened. Clear? But by now all this first gen switches would have been replaced by next gen switches, because these are pretty old. 2016, 17, 18 switches are there, and these are mostly copper switches, twin-X cables, right? Right now in all data centers, a high-speed data center, all of them are on the optics fiber. Okay, so let's close this one.
Yeah.
Okay, what I was talking about it, I forgot. EPIC, right? Yeah. So EPIC. So we in ACI, we have a different type of components. One is the EPIC controller. EPIC. And then we have switches. SWI. I know you guys know the spelling of switches. So whatever it is there, just understood it's a switches. Okay. So EPIC, what is EPIC? People generally ask, what is EPIC? So EPIC, we know it's a policy enforcement device, which means using this EPIC controller, we create a configuration, we pushes the configuration to ACI. Let's build a topology. This is a spine. This is a spine, and this is the, okay, one second. ACI topology. ACI topology. Let's pick this one. Okay, let's capture this one and put it over there. This will help. This one. Okay.
Arav, how many leaf switch can connect in each spine switches?
How many switches can be connected on the ACI, right? It all depends upon the scalability guide. Okay, generally, if you have 80 switches, right, it will be managed by the 3 EPIC controller. If you go beyond 80 switches, right, you might need a 5 EPIC controller. Then different version, 3 version, 4 version, 5 version, different supports are there. So you have to check on the ACI, on the CCO page, ACI scalability guide, which will tell you on certain version how many pods you can create. Pods in the sense multi-pod, 12 port, 24 port, 16 port, how many ports can be created, how many switches you can use it, right? Depending upon what type of EPIC you have. So EPIC also comes a different, this thing, right? EPIC medium size and EPIC large port, EPIC L and EPIC M. M, which means where you will have edge port, right? Less than 1000. EPIC L means L in the stands for large, which will have more than 1000 ports. So again, depends upon the scalability guide. We will be sharing links and all this. You can Google it. If not, I'll definitely will be sharing links where you will be seeing what version, what type of EPIC, and how many switches it supports. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, no worries. Again. Excuse me. So you see this topology, right? So you have a 2 spine here. We have a lot many leaves available over here, and we have a EPIC controller as well. So this is EPIC. One thing to note about it, right? This EPIC always connects to the leaf. If people says that this EPIC connect to the spine, it's wrong. Okay, EPIC always connects to the leaf. Now I'm telling this you as as you are a beginner, guys. Okay, when if you go about advanced and other stuff, EPIC also connects over the spine using L3 out. But let's not get confused. Right now, at 3rd August 2024, just understand EPICs always connect to the leaf switches. That is how you guys will start. Okay, leaf switches. EPIC doesn't connect to spine, and all these leaves connects to the spine, and it should be a complete partial match, which means every leaf should be connected to the every spine to every leaf. One thing to note about it, there will be no ISL, which means inter-switch link connected between the switches, which means no spines will be connected to each other, no leaves will be connected to each other. In case you by mistake during the racking and stacking or cabling, you by mistake connected it also. As soon as the EPIC will get discover, register, immediately there is a protocol which is miscabling protocol, MCP, which will be bringing down your interface. Something, some name will be also written there under interface, you will see, and by that name you will understand why this port has gone to error disable or why this port is down, because we have the MCP running, which ensure that no switches connects to each other. Okay, and the minimum EPIC what we use, right, is 3 EPIC. Okay, now if you couple of you guys might be advanced ACI user, and if you log into your lab and see, hey, I have only 1 EPIC, then how it's working, right? I heard from Arav that minimum 3 EPIC is required. 3 EPIC is required for the production. 3 EPIC is required for the TAC team to support. Okay, but just to bring up ACI fabric, for your testing and learning, even a single epic is enough. Okay. Now, before talking about the failure scenarios of this epic, let's understand what hardware model is this, right? So epic is a rack server. It's a Cisco rack server, which is UCS 220, M3, M4, M5. M3, M4, M5 is also a generation of the switches, right? If I would have pen and paper, this thing, pen I was talking about you guys, right? I would have written on this screen, but you guys just understand these are the generation of the switches, M3, M4, M5. Okay. And overall, this is the hardware. Epic controller is a hardware, is a C series rack server. And on top of it, the operating system, what we are running is an ACI code, which is epic code, which is we are running on top of it. Okay. Same thing, like I said, switches is the Nexus boxes. Okay. And on top of it, we are running the ACI code. The most of the time when you will be hearing epic code, so epic code will be something like 3.2 and the switch code will be 13.2. If epic is running 4.5, the switches will be running 14.5. So whatever the epic is there, right, just one gets prefix or one just get added in front of this ACI version. So it's very easy to remember. If anyone says, hey, what's ACI epic version you are running? It's 3.2. You will definitely understand it's 13.2. Okay. So this is the one, and this is Nexus switches, and this is the rack series C220 server, and on top of it, we are running the epic operating system. Now, one.
Could you repeat this word? Code that on top of what we are running for the epic. You said it's a hardware and also it's a rack server. So, so what is the code that we are running? The ACI code?
Yeah. Just stand by. I am just
sorry.
Going to soft. No, that's okay. I'm just going to the software page where I can show it to you the codes. Okay, let me get into that. So since you guys are Cisco, right? So you guys will be noticing this one. And Epic software. Okay, this is blocked. Let me get into this one. Software. FTWAR, Software Central. Okay. So if you go to access download, right? There is a method where you can browse and go to that individual session, like data center Nexus switches,
so,
or you download.
Excuse
Otherwise,
me.
Go on.
In case you are sharing your screen, we can't see anything. Are you sharing your screen?
Yes, I do. It's
yes, it's visible to us.
Yes, he's sharing his screen, Afish.
Oh, I have to sign out and join again then. I can't see his screen.
How about the rest of the audience?
It's visible.
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, I got the person who's not able to view. Probably you can disconnect and reconnect. Okay. So
yes,
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Epic. We just type Epic. Log into Epic controller. Just select the Epic. Click on this Epic software. Okay. And then you pick any code, right? Let's talk about 4.2, right? So if I click on 4.2, right? So click on 4.27W. So 4.27W is an epic image. You see right here, epic image is written here. Now, if this is an epic image, what will be the switch image, right? So if you scroll down, you see the switch image, which is Nexus 9K ACI mode switch software release, which is 14. So if you are running 4.2, it's a 14.2 switch image. Does that clear the person who was asking?
Yeah, I'm clear. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So this is done. So
Arav, I'm sorry. Does it mean that the Epic controller and the version of the switch, the iOS version of the switch also should match?
Yes, see, there is two things, recommended and the other thing is supported. Recommended, whatever the Epic version is running, accordingly the same version should be running on your switches, which means if 4.5 is running on Epic, the 14.5 should be running on switches. But sometimes what happened during the code upgrade, right? You are upgrading from version 1 to version 2, right? So there will be a time, right, in between where half of your fabric is running the new version and remaining half of your fabric is running old version. And this type of scenario we called as a mixed version. So it is supported, but again, it's advisable that you should always run a uniform code. When I say uniform code, if your Epic is running 3.2, your switches should running 13.2, 4.5, whatever it's there, 14.5 it should be running. During the code, it's an exception because you are upgrading. It's same thing like your Nexus standalone switches, right? Where your VPC is running. One side is A, other side is B. A, you have upgraded from 7 to 9. B is still on 7, right? So one side will be 9, other side will be 7 version, code version. So same thing in ACI. Mixed version, and this scenario is called mixed version. Mixed version, thus we support. But the thing is, it's always good, always advisable to come back as soon as possible to the standard code. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. So we can manage the versions of the switches from the Epic controller itself?
Always, yes.
Okay, got it.
All the upgrade, downgrade, everything should be done from the Epic, as long as switch is the part of your ACI. In the beginning, I said about the RMA, right? In the case of RMA, you got a new switch, right? Which is anyway, it's now not connected to your ACI fabric. So there you can manage the switches, right? You can upgrade to the ACI version, whatever you want, and then have them integrated to your ACI fabric. But there are certain challenges, which means there will be some certain BIOS mismatch will be there. That's why as a Cisco TAC engineer, right, whenever you ask them, they will always say, yes, it's okay. You can bring that to that ACI mode, connect to that ACI fabric, and try to upgrade the target version using the Epic controller, because everything from the hardware level, not only OS level, even that hardware level also gets upgraded to the target version. Did you get that right, or you want me to rephrase and explain? You got it, right?
That's fine. Got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
No worries. Okay. So,
so this one, spine and leaf, all are Nexus 9K only, right? No
all
other.
are next, no other.
Okay.
If anyone says that, can we use ASR? Say them no, we cannot use them ASR. It's always Nexus 9K, and it's only that 9300 switches and 9500 switches will be used. No other.
90, okay.
Yeah, you might be hearing in the market that we have 9800 also switches, which is a
9200 also we have. So
9200 also there. Some MDS switches is also there, right? But we don't use that. Only 9500 and 9800. And I also showed you this screenshot, right, which I captured. This one, right? Generation of switches, right? So you see, right? These all are the leaf switches. I'll talk about the spine also, but these are all, if you see from the top to down, all are 93, 93, 93, 93. And the last two digit, if you see 32, 72, not sure, but these 36, 36 will be the port numbers. So let's get to that hardware. Let's open new tab. Go to the new tab. Okay, let me take a screenshot and post it here. So ACI is all about next 9000 series platform. in 9500 models, right? 9500, which is only used as a spine. You cannot use those as a leaf, only spine. Okay, because as soon as they will get discovered by the Epic controller, it will show its role as a spine, not as a leaf. So they come as a 4 slot, 8 slot, 16. So if you see, right, this small one, this is 8 slot, this is 4 slot, right? And this is a 16 slot. Okay, and then we have 9300 switches, which is also called a top of rack switches. Okay, and we have this difference interface like 1 gig, 10 gig, 40, 100, 400. But right now, if you see, if you are checking in the Cisco latest webinar or Cisco Live, right, you will notice that even we have 800 gigs ports available as well. So think about the speed or the throughput we are talking about it. So this is a different type of models and different type of ports supported will be there. And spines, always remember one thing: leaf is always the fixed rack unit. It's a single chassis. Leaves cannot be a modular chassis, but spine can be modular chassis as well, or even the fixed spine. Now you will be thinking, okay, modular chassis, I got it right. Let me come up with this one. I have one more, which says 9503, 9504, 9508. Okay, so 9504, 9508, 94016, right? These are spine switches. You got it right. But these are the big chassis. The dollar value or the operational or the money things come into the picture. What about the certain customer which is just like a startup or even a big company? They want their team to learn the ACI, right? For them, it's not feasible to grant this big chassis, right? So even the spine comes in the single rack unit also, the thinner one also, right? So leaves are always a single slot unit, but the spines can be modular and non-modular both. So let's talk about the spine one. Spine, 1 second. The spine, like I said, it will come 9504, 9508, 4, 8, and 16 are the slots. Okay, and then you in the background, it's the front face. So in the front face, you have the power supply.
Excuse me.
And tell me.
So sorry, does it mean we don't have leaf switches in the 9500 series?
Leaf switches as what?
9500 series.
Leaf switches, we don't have 9500 switches because 9500 is always a modular chassis.
Modular, and that's for spine. Okay.
Yeah, 9504, you see the extreme right? 9504, 9508, and 9508, 16. These all are spines, but leaf switches cannot be modular so far. Maybe tomorrow something if changed, that's a different thing. But at this point of time, we don't have a modular leaf switches. So I just picked one of the 9508 over here just to show you guys that we have 8 slot unit. These are the interface which will be connected to your leaf switches. Then we have power supply. And then if you turn it back, we have the fan module. And then what you see here, right? This one, this is called fabric module. Okay, just 1 second. So in the Nexus boxes, you understand, okay, we have the power supply, we have the fan, we have the line cards where we have the either leaves connected or maybe server connected. Line card is understood. What about the fabric module? The fabric module, what you see here, right? These are all horizontal. If you see here, right? These are all horizontal and this is vertical. So what actually happened, like this thing from the behind comes and stick to all the line card, which means these are all horizontal, this is vertical. It goes and fit it on into all the line cards, because this, if suppose there is a port on this line card 8 which want to communicate with line card 4, right? There is no connectivity, right, directly. So how they will connect to each other? Via fabric module. So this is fabric module. So depending upon this the model, right? So this is 950 8, right? So 2 modules, fabric modules will be there. If you have a smaller box chassis, 9504, only 1 fabric module will be there. This one probably will have 4 fabric module. But fabric module, just understand that these are the horizontal lines, these are the vertical line. This all fabric modules go and fit into this verticals line, go and attach to it, go and stick to itself to the fabric module. You can just visualize. Okay, you got it right. This line cards just go and just connect to this fabric module so that the packet can, or control plane or data plane, whatever is there, gets communicated within the line cards. So this is 9508, and if you see a different model, 4, 8, 16, a type of models. Then let's talk about the companies or training institute, something which definitely they don't need it. They don't need such a high throughput, right? We just want to learn few things on ACI, how things works, right? For them, we have a fixed spine switches. Okay, here what we have is like a single rack unit or double rack unit, but they are not modular, right? If you see 9364, right, 9362, they are not modular. Okay, here if you see, right, you have the advantage. Here it comes 2 supervisor, but these are all single supervisor unit, single soup. So here we have to understand we don't have the redundancy at the supervisor level. Supervisor, if you guys don't understand, it's a control plane, right? So like how we have line card, we have supervisor module which has a management port via which we connect to the switches. So these are the single or 2 rack unit depending upon the thickness and all. So we have different models, 64, 32, PQ, and GDGX model. So depending upon, suppose you have only 40 gig requirement, you will go for this one. Or if you have 400 gig of requirement, probably you can go to this one. Okay, and then we have, let's talk about now leaf switches. So if you talk about the leaf switches, this 9364, 93 LC, EX, and 93 PQ, these are the leaf switches. So any questions, any doubt about the hardware, I'm just trying to bring it in one screen. Just check and ask any question if you have about the hardware. Just think you have to understand, spine switches can be modular, non-modular. Spine switches in modular, we have 9500 series. In 9500 series cannot be a leaf switches, and in leaf switches we have these model available. This is just few models available, but if you go to my screenshot which I have shown to you, we have lot of switches available, leaf switches available over here. So think about it. Just give some time on the screen and ask me if you have any question on the hardware level.
Yeah, excuse me, Arif, I just have a question. On this 9500, the modular switch, you talked about the fabric module. So if I understand, it serves the purpose of a stack cable, right? So instead of having a stack cable, you have the line cards connected on the fabric module and it communicates each other.
Yes, yes,
okay.
yes.
So
internally it gets connected.
Yeah, I have seen some on some UCS, this fabric module. There is some connectors which goes to the fabric interconnect.
Correct. UCS B series rack server. Okay.
Yeah. So this fabric module is having some purpose like that. Is there any connections going from this fabric module?
There is
because
no.
I feel like there is some ports on that.
Yes, there are.
What is the other purpose of that?
I don't
fabric
think.
module, if you can make me understand.
There is no cables connected to this fabric module. Just one second. As far as I know, there is no cables connected to this one. Maybe in picture, whatever it looks like, but I don't see there is any ports which is connected to this one. Ports are only connected to this one. That's it. And this you see, right? Soup A and soup B, 2 soups will be there. Only front facing ports will be connected. Power cable will be connected, but there will be no cables connected to the fabric module. All these line slots go and fit it to this fabric module. Okay. Yeah. Any more question on this one? We have to be very clear on this one hardware. Maybe after that we don't require it because mostly we'll be talking about the policy and all this thing. But just think about it if you have any question. So
for the leaf switches, is it safe to say all leaf switches have only one soup? If that is the case, what if it fails? What happens?
Yeah, most of the leaf switches, I think almost all the leaf switches have only single soup. They don't have redundancy. But one thing you will be notice in the ACI fabric, right? If I go here to this topology, just 1 second. This one. They work in VPC. If you see this diagram, right? This work in VPC. Even if this goes down, right, and there is a server connected to this one, we have the redundancy in the leaf. That's why we only have a single soup in all the leaf. But spines, we have dual soup if you go with a modular. Again, if you go with a single rack unit or single slot, right? Single slot, I would say, not rack unit, single slot, right? They don't have a dual soup in the spine also. Only with the modular chassis we have dual soup.
Okay, but if you talk of VPC, VPC does not help. I may be wrong. VPC does not help to provide redundancy when bare metal or ESXi or VMs that are connected to a leaf, when the leaf goes down, when the soup goes down, all these endpoints or access devices that are connected to that leaf switch, they are impacted. I'm trying to see how VPC helps in case a soup goes down on a leaf switch.
Okay, let me quickly paint that. So we have the spines here, okay, and then we have the leaves, okay. Then we have a server, right? This server could be server. This could be a server. This could be a switch, right? So all these servers, right? If it is a bare metal or anything, definitely they will be having two NIC card, right? This bare metal server, which will be connected to switch A and switch B. And this switch A and switch B will be in VPC mode. Have I drawn this diagram as per your requirement?
Okay, I understood that part.
Okay.
Per channel, when they are connected to two switches, yes, there's redundancy. But what of hosts that are connected to a single leaf is not dual homed?
Yes, if it is single port, then that's an orphan port, and then that will face a problem. Okay, then that will get isolated. It's the same with VPC also. In VPC also, if leaf A goes down, we have the orphan ports concept over there, and that will lose the connectivity. So here in the same ACI, that's what during the upgrade and all, we reach out to the server team, mostly asking that please ensure that all your switches have a dual NIC, which is connected to two different switches. And that also we have to, that also we have to be mindful about it. This is C and D, right? So the switches, if the server should not be like connected to switch A or switch C, because this will be always in the one maintenance group. Even odd concept is there, right? If this also goes down, right? If this also goes down, right, in part of one maintenance group, even though server has a dual NIC, it failed the purpose of dual NIC because the server will be isolated because both its uplink switch is down.
Absolutely. That's correct. Now, for the scenario where you have an endpoint connected to the orphan ports, do you know if Cisco is looking into that to have leaf switches that will have more than one soup for full redundancy? Do you know if they have any such?
No, I don't think we have any plan to bring up any redundancy at the level of switch. What I heard from the Cisco team, anything they will bring it at the level of redundancy in the switch level on the leaf switches. They won't bring it. That's what I heard like multiple times when I interacted with Cisco team. This is what I heard of.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. They probably expect everybody to use VPC in their design.
Yes, absolutely. That is what it is expected. And even the server teams knows that whenever it will be upgraded, it will all the even leaves will be upgraded one, odd leaves will be upgraded next, whatever its scenario will be. But these leaves will be given a name, right? 101, 102, 103, 104. So 101, 104 comes in one maintenance group, 103 and 105, which is in the different maintenance group. Okay. So this is what, and okay, so you might be knowing there's a lot of things are there, right? We can talk about fabric access policies.
Excuse me, sorry. You said in maintenance mode, you run odd numbers separately and you run even numbers separately. Does it mean when you're configuring VPC, you have to connect even and odd switches together?
Yes, while configuring the VPC, right, it should always be 101, 102 switches together. 103, 104 should be together. We cannot take 101 and 103 as a part of VPC. That's a network team responsibility.
So we don't have two switches going down at the same time during maintenance.
Sorry, what?
So two switches don't go down during maintenance.
And so if switch A, which is 101, and switch C, which is 103, okay, this is called odd switches, odd number switches, and they are in the part of maintenance group A. And if we will upgrade it, both the switches will go down together. Both the switches will go down together.
Understood. Thank you.
Maybe 2 to 3 minutes will be up and down depending upon the resources they have, but it's expected that both will go down together. Only when we upgrade epics, right? This is 3 epic, right? Only these 3 epics will go one by one. One will, when you will hit the upgrade button, right? All the images will go together, where you will be seeing 30%, 30% all completed, 40% all completed. But with regard to reloading, first this will reload, get upgraded to new version, then this will get reloaded, get to the new version, and then this will get reloaded. They never go together. But in maintenance group, all the switches will be the part of that maintenance group will go at the same time.
So it is a service impact, right?
How it will be service impact? It's because this server. See, this one I was talking to the gentleman, right? But your ideal scenario should be 101 and 102, right? This is your ideal scenario, right? Your server should be connected to 101 and 102. So 101 is getting upgraded. 102 is still up. Your traffic should traverse through 102, isn't it? If it doesn't make sense, I'll create a new diagram.
No, it makes sense.
This is interesting, actually. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Happy to help. Yeah. Okay. Then we have another 20 minutes left. Probably I'll show you some of the automations use cases as well, because this is something which we will be talking about it. We have some tenant VRF BD to show you how to create and all. Let me quickly take you to the lab. Just quickly, 1 second. So this will be admin. So this lab is a little slow because I'm connecting it over the VPN. Okay. So just quickly we'll show you how we bring up the this thing. So actually there is a two-way. Just give me 2 minutes. I'll take some small break. Just 2 minutes. I'll go on mute. Okay. Okay. So actually there is 2 methods to bring up. As soon as you log in your Epic, right? This is the first welcome window which you will see. Either you can click begin first time, and from here you can start setting up your ACI fabric if it is a new fabric, right? which means click on begin. And if you see, right, various basic setup should be there, like bringing up your switches, BGP, NTP, DNS, proxies, and out of band, right? The first thing what we generally do, bringing up the fabric, right? So click on this one. I see one leaf is already registered. One leaf is already discovered. So one thing which I will tell you in the regular classes, right? These epics, right, will have the cabling already connected, right, to the Nexus switches running running ACI mode, right? So what happens as soon as the epic will come up, right? Just 1 second. They will do LLDP discovery, and they will discover the first switch available over here. So if you see in my Firefox browser, right, the first switch, which is of leaf type, get discovered. Till now, it doesn't have a node ID or name, right? If you see, two things are blank, but as we have already cabled it and already the ACI code is running on it and epic is already connected to it, it will get discovered, but not registered. So now we have to register that one, the first discovered switch. Click over here, and we can give this as a leaf 1.
Does it use the management port for communication from the Epic controller to the switches, or it's just some other VLAN interfaces on the switches?
Just 1 second. Where is this one? So on this one, right? Let me see if I can use. This is the management port, which is connected to your management switch. Leaf 1, which is connected to a management switch. It will be a catalyst switch, something switch will be there as per your business. But this is a normal link, access link, where it is connected to this one. So it's not using the management port. Management port is separate. Where using out of band, you get into the switches. Okay, this one will have, during the initial template, there will be a TEP IP address. Okay, the pool of IP address, and that will get assigned to this one. You will see just now, I'll show it to you. But here LLDP happen, and it's just a normal ports which is connected to this one. But management port of these all switches connected to some other switches. And once you log into, once this leaf get registered, then you have to configure the out of band ports, which is your management port. And then from outside your laptop also using that one, you can get to that directly to the leaf switches, or you can use Epic to get into the switches. Multiple ways to get into the switches. Okay. Clear?
So in that case, when you have the management switch, which is the out of band management switch, where do you have the gateways for the management out of band management network?
They will have somewhere in your core switches and all that. This is entirely a different scenario. Which is your some management port, like currently also, right? Whatever the switches you will have, right? You have your server and other stuff connected, but definitely you will be having your management port, which is connected to your out of band management switch or management switch, right? So that's a different thing. We never bring those data ports and management port together, right? So these are all these are the data port which is connected to over here. Using LLDP, it get discovered. But this gateways, this subnet will be different, and this subnet will be different.
Exactly.
Yeah. So this management port is altogether different. It has nothing to do with Epic. Only Epic will go and configure that one with some IP address, one of the IP address. With using that IP address, you can get into this one. But gateways and other stuff will be over here.
Okay, so on the leaf one, you should be configuring some IP address before we configure the Epic controller.
No, Epic controller is a UCS series rack server, right? Operating OS will be there. We will import the OS. Once the OS will come up, right, then OS will ask certain questions. In the fabric discovery class, I will show it to you, like what is the name of the epic you would like to give, what is the TAP IP address you would like to give, what is the VLAN number you would like to give it, what is the gateway, what is the management IP you would like to give to this epic controller. Once this registering is done, right, after that, the epic what epic will do, epic will try to discover its neighbor. So epic will send LLDP to here and LLDP to here, but this is something active standby port. So since this is the leaf one is an active port, it got discovered in my lab. So if you see, I know my APIC is connected to two leaves. Let's cancel this one. My APIC is connected to the two leaf, but I only got only one leaf. Why not other? The reason is simple, because this is active port and this got discovered. This leaf 2 did not get discovered. When I will this registering process of this leaf 1 gets completed, then immediately this leaf will discover both the spine switches, because you will see two spine switches immediately get discovered, not registered, immediately registered. But as soon as you will, after discovery, you will register this switch with a node ID and node name, then what all the switches it is connected, leaf switches, that immediately it will start start discovering that one. Is this
Okay.
clear? Otherwise, I'll make a new diagram to show you guys.
No, it's somewhat clear for me, but once we go further, maybe I'll have a better understanding. For the time being, it's fine. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So let's see in the what I said. Let's see in the diagram. Sorry, in the lab. If I click here, let's register this one. Okay, and give the node ID as 201, and this leaf as a leaf 1. Leaf 1. Okay, and hit submit. So again, after that, two entries will come of both the spines, right? So let this continue, but I will show it to you in traditional days how we used to do that. So we'll come over here, fabric membership, go to pending node registration, and if you see, right, there are I already have given the name and number. Leaf 1 I have already given, 201 node ID already given. So there are different phases it will pass, from unknown to discovering to inactive, and then finally it will become to active. So let me show it to you in CLI how it looks like. Let me log into PuTTY. And here, oh, what was that IP address? Okay. Let me ping this and get the IP address, CMD. And IP address is 198.198.18.133.200. So show ACI DAG FNV red. ACI DAG FNV red. Let's expand it a bit. So like I said in my topology, let's wait 1 second. One first leaf, what it discovered here, right? If I go with my topology, this leaf, it's setup done, and this leaf discovered this leaf 1. It discovered the leaf. It does not discover the leaf 1. Leaf 1, something which we have given the name, right? It just discovered it. Based on this serial number, we identify that let's give this leaf as some whatever leaf or whatever the node ID is there, right? So we gave that one, and once we gave that to one, right? I see two discoveries happen, which means two of the spine switches got discovered. So let's go back to the fabric, and let's give the node type. It's already spine. It's already says it has a spine. So right click, register, and 103. What we will give is spine 1. Node name is spine 1, and node ID we will give as 101. 101. And this is role. Everything is done. Click register. And let's register the another one, which is your spine 2. Spine 2. And node ID would be 102. Now it's going into unknown and other states. So let's come over here and let's check few things. It's one has gone to discovering state, other is still inactive. And after discovering, it shows the second leaf. Already showed the second leaf. But before registering, we'll ensure that these two gets active. Okay, it got disappeared from here, and it came over here. So first leaf, it's already active. Another two leaf, discovering and registering is still going on. So while this is progressing, if you guys have any questions, you can shoot. Not a problem. Going on. So now if you see, right, both the spine is active. Even the first leaf, anyway, we have done the first thing. Then other two spine active, and then now the last is the second leaf. So let's bring that up as well. Register, and the node ID would be, as per my notes, it's 202, and it's leaf 2, and okay, rolled as it is. Again, if I'll go here, I'll see some changes from discovering, inactive, and finally what I see, it is it should be active. One thing I would like to tell you, if you see this number, right, 915 or whatever the number is there, right? If it is there for, if you see, right, it was 915 and then 468, right? If this number is keep on changing, then it's okay. You see 468, 4993, but just a troubleshooting step. If this is stagnant, if this is stopped on everything, which means the process is not processing, which means the registering thing is not happening, then you have to start troubleshooting. You have to console to your switches, and you have to check what is going on. Not out of band management, because out of band management you haven't configured yet. So every switches will have one management port and one will be the console port. So you have to log into console port, and you need to check log is progressing, or it is stopped, or is it stuck into the bootloader mode. If it is stuck in bootloader mode, just do dir. You will get the images available in the boot flash. Just type boot, BOOT, give space, give the image name, and hit enter, and it will boot up. So this was all about demo thing. Just one second, checking a few things. Let me see if I have anything in my notes which I can show. Just one second. Let me show you some of the automation use cases as well, because you might be interested. Okay, let me check if this discovery got completed. Okay, now both the leaves, both the spine is active, and now you don't have anything pending registration. And if any leaves is not registering it, it will come to the unreachable nodes here. So you have to troubleshoot on that one. From here, nothing is pending. Everything has come back to. Okay, this is still inactive. Okay, now it's active because I just refresh it and it's active. How the topology looks like? Let's click on the topology left hand side. Okay, let me see if I have jump host configured, and if I can admin. So whatever the things I was configuring there, right? Those things you can see it over here. Now there's nothing is pending here. Everything got registered, everything got its own node ID, everything has got its this one. And this IP address is not the out of band IP address. Okay, this IP address is something while setting up the Epic controller, right? I have given one range 10.000/16, right? From that subnet, these people, these devices have got the IP address. So ACI, let me show SWI TCH. So switch. Okay. So switch. Okay, maybe because of this is simulator, that's why it's not working. Just 1 second.
Arnav, how does it understand which switch to be chosen as a spine and which switch has to be identified as a leaf? How does it understand that?
While registering, do you remember it was telling what type of switches it is that one. So when I was registering it, right, that time it was showed the only thing which I fed there was the node ID and the node name. I did not tell anything about leaves and switch because that was automatically was getting detected. If you will watch the recording, you will see that this already got detected. Again, it's a basic thing. Just understand that leaf switch will automatically say I am leaf, and the spine switch will always tell that I am a spine. But now in the latest year, like from the last year, Cisco has started sending certain devices which end with GX, and those switches will work both as a spine and leaf. And when you registered those type of switch, you have to manually specify that I'm going to use this switch as a leaf or a spine. But for now, your Epic will is smart enough and will let you know that, hey, you are going to use this as a leaf or the spine by default. But new switches which is coming, let me help you with the CCO page. There it's documented. Just 1 second. So let me. Copy, paste it here. So the Cisco ACI leaf with name ending with -GX have hardware that is capable of operating as either spine or leaf, right? Other than that, whatever the things which have been shipped so far, Epic is smart enough to let you know whether this is Epic or this is spine. So you did not need to worry about it, unless and until you have the new hardware in your infrastructure which ends with GX. Again, there are certain things like from this version, this will work as a leaf. This version, it will work as spine. There is no end. Also, document, you just have to go through the document. But basic thing is for your DC ACI, it's always the leaves and spines will always be available. Okay.
Got it.
So yeah, let's see if. So, okay, maybe in the next thing, next class, I have to show it to you how to create tenants and all. Like, if I go here, right, we just.
I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
Can you, we've all heard about, spine switches and leaf switches. And when you were going on to add the discovered device, we seen there was an option of tier 2 leaf. What is a tier 2 leaf and what is its function?
Okay, so now we have a concept of multi-tier architecture. In the multi-tier architecture, what we have is whiteboard. that's a concept of multi-tier architecture. So here, what we will be having, this will be a spine, okay, and then we have a layer 1 leaf, and then we have a layer 2 leaves. So this is L1 leaf and L2 leaf. So this is in the latest version, I think from version 5 only, or maybe from ACI version 4, this has been introduced, where you can add the switch stating it's a layer 1 or layer 2, and you can, in the fabric membership, you can see which leaves has been registered himself as a layer 1 or layer 2. I think this was something which was done to address some FEX functionality to increase the number of ports and something like that. But that will not be the part of DCACI, and that's steps are pretty simple, but we don't have much documentation on multi-tier architecture of ACI. That's what I know, but I have not much worked on multi-tier architecture. Yeah, good question though. Yeah.
Thank you.
No worries. So, anyone we have from the NetworkJourney team to take over?
Yes, if you have you can take the Q&A. So if any students have that.
Yeah, if any more Q&A is there, I'm happy to address those questions. I see 35 people, so if you have any more questions.
Yeah, I have one more question. Because you mentioned VXLAN, you mentioned ACI. So can you, I don't know if you have time, but can you discuss the role of VXLAN and ACI fabric? How does the ACI handle VXLAN encapsulation and decapsulation? And what are the performance considerations?
Yeah, that's something which we will be talking about in the L2 forwarding, this one, ACI forwarding. But so that's very elaborate topic. And if you know, one advantage what we have in ACI is that we don't configure that IVXLAN. We have VXLAN standard. In ACI, we call it as IVXLAN because we have taken the standard VXLAN and we have modified that configuration, which is aligned something towards the Cisco. And then they are using that as IVXLAN, that VXLAN things into that ACI. We don't do much configuration, but there will be some advantage and disadvantage. Probably I'll look into it. And maybe during that ACI forwarding things, I'll talk more about that.
Okay, and the thing about automation, right? You mentioned that there is going to be some discussion on that, which is good because if you're doing 100 switches, you don't want to do it manual. But I guess my question to you: what automation platform are you going to be utilizing going over?
Yeah, sure. So this will be mostly like a beginner's kind of session. I will be showing to you Postman, how to use the Postman, and then basic of the Ansible and Terraform. Because Ansible is mostly like to manage of the configuration, and Terraform is mostly like the provisioning thing. So using that Terraform, you will be seeing how you can spin up, how you can configure the tenant, how you can configure the APG and other stuff. So it will be a beginner. Probably this thing, right? Postman thing. Let me see if I have that handy. Postman. 1 second. Because before showing to you Postman, right, I thought of covering what is tenant because most of the students might not be knowing about it, right? So if you see, right, this Epic creation, first of all, to work this Postman, right, we need to authenticate Epic, right? Then create tenant application profile, VRF, BD, a lot of things can be configured from here. This is all about single thing. But using Postman, we can also do the collection using the collection features of the Postman. We can configure multiple things at a one time. Like for example, if you have an 50 leaves, 50 leaves you have, and on all the 50 leaves you want to do the static port binding, or on all the 50 ports you want to do the VMM integration, right? Think about in production how tough it will be there to log into the GUI, right click, integrate with VMM domain, right click on static port, integrate with static port. So using the CSV file and all those things, we will be learning those things in this one. So just click on, let me see if I have that one. I can show it to you just quickly one thing. This is, first of all, for any automation to work, first of all, we need to authenticate. So,
and this tool, right? This tool is relatively I call it a API management system, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
this can not only be used for ACI, but also NXOS as long as they have NX API enabled, correct?
Any system which suppose REST API, right? This tools
Correct.
will work on that.
Okay.
Yeah. So we just and what's best part thing is that there for all the coding, right? This thing, right? What is the what we put in the code, right? These things we do not learn it or remember it. Every coding is already available on your DevNet portal. We just have to download it and customize based on your need. Like BD, we have to customize it. The variables, right? What we have, we just have to customize those variables and then push it. Okay.
Okay. Also, would you go over with the class? I mean, I know it's early, but also understanding if we have to do this from scratch, how to grab it. Like what I'm asking is, are we gonna go over the API inspector?
Yes. So to find out how we have written this code, right? So the best way is to go to Epic controller, click on this one. So API inspector, enable this one, make some changes. There will be a post method which will be done over here. Copy that one, format it. So those basic things I will be showing you in the class. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, Arav.
I have one question. For this Epic controller, we took web access, right? So how it is configured? Like it is through in-band or out-of-band, like in general scenario?
How Epic is configured?
Yeah, means we took the web access of Epic, right? So it will be a management out of management access or in-band access?
No. So what usually happens is you have the UCS box, right? On that operating, you will be having access to your CIMC, right? Just 1 second. Let me get to this one. I'll show it to you on the or quickly show this one. Epic server L2 image, right? So this one. Okay, so this is your C series rack server. On this one, you how do you log into this one? So there will be a management port and the CIMC port. So this port will be configured by the team, right? You have to be physically available in your data center, configure this one. Once this port is configured, then you log into the CIMC. Once you log into the CIMC, you have to integrate your ACI image. Okay, like how you integrate your ESXi, right? You have to integrate that image. You have to boot up. Once it boot up, right, then there will be a template will come. And the template is ACI initial script. ACI, let's see. Yes, like this, there will be a, you see, right? Like this, some script will come where you have to put the detail, VLAN number, IP address. So here you have to configure the out of band IP address, the management IP address, and using this IP address, and this IP address should be routable from your laptop or whatever the jump server you are using it. From there, this should be routable because you have to ping it and test it that this IP address is pingable. Then you launch the GUI, and then you will get the Epic GUI. You got it from the scratch, like
Yes. Thanks. I got it.
yeah, no worries.
Arav,
Maybe sorry, go on.
Yeah, once that is finished, I'll start. Sorry about
that. During this fabric discovery, I'll show to you how we provide the IP address, VLAN range, and other stuff, and then we'll check the connectivity. Once the connectivity is restored, then how to log into Epic GUI. Okay, so that was the answer to the previous question. Go next, please.
Yeah, Hari here, Arav. Yeah, thanks for the session, and it is impressive. I would like to have some questions like, so to what level of this course will be delivered, like beginner or intermediate or customized to work in a organization as a ACI engineer? What level this will be
mostly it will be focused on DC ACI 20 course what I showed you starting.
Mhm.
But I will be using my real-time experience, and like nobody, it will show that log into that Epic controller, and you will be seeing the digits chains and all those things, how to troubleshoot. So those things I will be using my real-time experience working with different companies, and then that I will be incorporating in this course. But mostly it will be stick around 620, 320, whatever the code is that one.
Okay,
Okay.
that's good. Yeah, thank you. And another question is, so on the lab part, do we have all the licenses and stuff to do all the activities as per the syllabus? Any limitations to, because as you
See,
said, it's an emulator, right?
yes,
Any
it's an
limitations on
emulator.
something?
And the advanced level, multi-pod, multi-site, those kind of things will not be possible because that's an advanced thing. But basic thing, what is their part of the DC ACI, which is your VMM integration, which is your PBR, ASA integration, L4 to L7 integration, fabric registry, tenant creation, EPG creation, those kind of basic things, easily you can do it that on emulator.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you. And one more last question. So,
Excuse me, yeah.
do we have a lab guide, or we have to just monitor your demo session and then create?
No, there will be a lab guide with every lab.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. I'm
No
good.
worries. Okay.
Okay, Arav, I'm
Arav,
Kadir
is
this
it?
side. Hello, Arav.
Yeah.
Okay, can I proceed? Somebody else. Okay. Arav, after finishing this DC ACA course, okay, which is 300 to 620, what we can do, and most of the things which you said, that because this comes under basic ACA course, okay. So my question is, what we can't able to do after finishing this course?
What we can't able to do, right? That's your question.
Yes, exactly.
See, you will be a very good and operational engineer for managing, operating, and configuring your ACI, tenant, EPG, BD, and every stuff. Even the part of the troubleshooting as well. As soon as you see the fault, you know where to go, what to do, and how to mitigate or how to resolve those issues, right? Only things which will be missing the advanced level, like a very advanced level of scripting, because if you are very up to date with the ACI, there are some AACI code. It's there, infrastructure as code, ACI as code. Those are very advanced level. Okay, those things will not be able to do in this course. And then multi-pod, multi-sites, we will be giving you the things, what happens in multi-pod, how the same cluster manages the two-pod. In multi-site, how do you have that a separate cluster managing those things? Those theoretical part we will be covering it. Lab part, I think, for multi-site will not be possible. But definitely for DC ACI, it's not there, the lab part. Only the theoretical things are needed.
So, is it okay for an individual to do all kind of provisioning rather than the multi-pod and multi-site? Okay, is it okay for him to complete and the provisioning parts, everything except multi-pod and multi-site?
Yes, provisioning things and all these things you can do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
provisioning is like how many time you will be doing. You will be doing only one time, right? 1 to 2 times. As soon as you learned it, how to do that, you are able to you are able to access the GUI using that IP address. That's it. There's
debugging
nothing much.
Yes, debugging.
There's nothing debugging happens in that this thing. If anything fails, right? First of all, this is what we are doing in simulator. If anything's break, we just reboot that VM. But in real time, if anything is break, there's a lot of things. You go to that hardware level. You just need to check the TPM platform is enabled, disabled. Then there is no, I would say, sky is the limit, or there's no limit, something like that. But to that level of hardware level of troubleshooting, we don't do that.
So you mean there is a limitation here, right? When comparing with the real-time work. So here we are touching very basic things only, right?
Basic things with the troubleshooting, but not at the hardware level. Like
Okay,
suppose,
so,
sorry, go on.
So do we get the relevant documents or materials?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Those things we will be sharing. Yes.
Because
even
sorry,
even those things we do not do daily, right? Those troubleshooting things, right? So those things we only depend upon the depend upon the documentation itself. Like for example, I said every time if it is leaf going on boot mode, right? Suppose one scenario, we know how to fix it, but we don't know how to find out why it's always going in the boot mode. Definitely there's a problem at hardware level, right? Then there is a way to collect the logs, I think some portals are there where you have to upload it. One way is to get the tag engaged, but there are some portal which I did it some time back where we upload it and then find out something which is related to bug. Then either the option would be there, change the hardware, or the option would be there to upgrade to the fixed version. So those things definitely will not be the you can think, right? If you start going through it, then it will not be covered. Yeah.
Okay. That will comes over the experience only. Yes, right?
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. And my final questions. Actually, I hear from some other trainers that from Cisco simulation. Okay, are we going to use the Cisco simulation for our lab hands-on?
Mostly, yes.
So the direct Cisco simulation, what they are provided by Cisco, right? That is the one, or you are having some other environment?
No, it's our environment, but it's the same simulator which I have downloaded from Google. We'll get it if we'll start looking for multiple sites, right? Like start collection or something, right? There we have that simulator. We just have to download it. It will come in 5 parts, something like that. We have to merge it and we have to make it one.
Because
but one thing, sorry, go on.
There are few limitations I heard from that Cisco
yes, you will not be able to change. You will not be able to check the endpoint connectivity.
Correct.
Yes. But regarding configuration, automation, it is good. Everything will work.
Okay, validation part we can't able to check.
Oh, with respect to endpoint, we cannot do that. That's only the limitation we have.
Okay. And finally, what we are looking to complete the Cisco DC ACA course. Okay.
Yes.
Which is providing by Cisco. So, will you provide dumps and other related materials and all?
To be honest, I'm not sure about it. We have to check with the marketing team. But from my end, absolutely, it's a big no.
Okay.
I'm sorry to disappoint if I had. Yeah.
Okay. That's all.
Yeah. This CSI course, is this included in the curriculum? Integration of other tools, other devices or technologies such as firewall, and probably ESXi.
So firewall, we will be integrating it as a part of L4 to L7 using ASAV. Okay. And what was that other ESXi something, right?
Yes.
So ESXi is managed by the vCenter. So we will be doing the VMM integration to show you, to show you how we integrate the vCenter as a part of VMM integration. Then how you can check the VMs and all on your Epic, how you see that. So those things we will be showing how the port groups is pushed to the vCenter under the DVS switch, how you connect those VMs to the port group, how you ping the gateway just to troubleshoot whether you are able to connect or not, how you check which port group is connected to which vSwitch, which VM NIC, which uplink to the interface. Those things we will be checking. Yeah.
Okay, are we planning to also introduce ACE for the management of the external boxes?
ACE?
AVE. ACI Virtual Edge.
Yeah, ACI Virtual. No, I think that will not be there. But I'll try to probably I will try to add that content. If something you guys are interested, I'll try to add that content.
Yeah, that would be interesting if you can include that. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, thank you. Anyone from the network team? I think any more question before I ask team to network journey team?
Arav, do you have the recording of this session? Because I missed
that will be
some
shared
of the
by the that will be probably shared by the marketing team. Or
thank you.
Arav, this course is weekend or weekdays?
This is mostly for the weekends. And we'll try to keep it mostly evening to cover all the time zone around the globe.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you.
Arav, one question. This service graph will be part of this, like lab?
Yes, it will be.
Okay.
L4 to L7 service graph, yes.
How long duration you have planned for this course?
It will be around 40 hours. I think it will go around 2.5 months.
Okay.
Yeah. But again, more detail will be provided by my team, like from the NetworkJourney team.
All right. All right.
Hello, everyone. Myself Sajid. I am your student relationship manager. I'm here to give you details regarding the course enrollment and like class schedules and regarding access, regarding materials. So whatever all we are going to provide you. Let me start with the first slide. So here we'll be showing you like course syllabus and class schedules. What will be the course structure and class schedule time. So basically this will be going to be SDN orchestration course. So here totally 3 modules will be covered. Like you can, as you just attended the Cisco ACI demo lecture. So once we'll be starting this Cisco ACI first, and after this the next will be the Cisco NEXUS, and at the end there will be the Cisco SD-WAN Viptela, and you can say it as Catalyst as also nowadays. Okay, so these 3 modules will be covered in this SDN orchestration course. Okay, from from basic to expert level, as well as you can say we'll be going to cover. And regarding to the class schedules, so this will be going to be a weekend batch, so on Saturday and Sunday, and this will be going to be from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. IST. Okay, 7 p.m. IST to 9 p.m. IST, and the course duration will be comes up for 4 months. Okay, and let's say if already enrolled persons are getting some overlapping between their other classes, so that our another batch will be scheduled from the 9 p.m. as well. So in case you are planning to enroll for this batch too, so this will be a good timing to attend your classes on from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Okay. I will move towards the next slide. So here I'm giving you details regarding course enrollment, access, and details. Like here we'll be providing you web portal access. So on web portal you'll be getting the recording access of your course which you have attended from the Zoom meeting. That recordings you are getting on the web portal. So that let's say while if you are practicing, or if you are recalling, or if you are preparing for any interviews or anything it may be, you can go through the recordings from our VLMS, and that will remain with you for lifetime access. Whenever you want, you can access the recordings. That will remain with you for lifetime. The recordings are of your classes which you have attended. Okay. And secondly, we'll be providing you the 24/7 backend, 24/7 unlimited lab access for each module. Let's say for Cisco ACI, you will get the 3 months of lab access, and for Cisco NEXUS, you will get the 3 months of lab access. And for Cisco SD-WAN course, you will be also getting 3 months of lab access that you can access it totally remotely, which are present on our servers and cloud servers. So that will be accessible 24/7 unlimited for your 3 months access for each module. Okay, and we'll be providing you the dedicated materials like workbooks, PPTs, PDFs, like step-by-step lab manuals, and all the materials PPTs and soft copies. So we'll be providing you, and that you can download and you can keep it with you as well. And G drive access also remains with you for lifetime access. Okay, and let's say we'll be providing you the home lab setup. So if you have the good configuration of your system, then we will help you out to set up a home lab. Let's say the home lab will be done only for the Cisco NEXUS and SD-WAN, that too with higher configuration. Okay, and ACI will be need the higher resource, so that cannot be done on the system. We'll be giving you on our remote server itself, so easily you can access it there. And in case of practitioner, you'll be getting some more, let's say if you are practicing more, in case we can extend some 10-15 days extra for your Cisco ACI labs, so in scenario of lab practicing. Okay, and Yeah, so home lab setup will be done for your Cisco NEXUS and Cisco SD-WAN both, and that too required for a good and like heavy resource, you can say, and that will be also remains with you for lifetime access. So you will be getting the required download files from the G drive. So from there you can download the files and you can just notify us through like our support DL. So once you download and request a ticket on our support DL, one of our team member will connect with you, and we will do your home lab setup on your personal laptop. Okay, and that tool remains with you for lifetime access. And we'll be providing you the 24/7 backend support from our NetworkJourney team. Like, let's say if you are facing any issues, any queries regarding to the course or regarding to the portal or regarding to the labs or regarding to your class modules or anything it may be, you just need to raise a ticket on our support DL. One of our team member will connect with you and we will resolve your issues accordingly in meantime. Okay. This will be the access and materials which we are going to provide you. And next, moving towards the pricing part. So